Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ow. Talk to him. I mean, sometimes you got people going against you and you just gotta go above and beyond all that. Let's go. Straight up the top, just so you know ain't no stopping us. Yeah, I see you been watching us. You could.
Hey, it's Justin Hadlock here, aka FaceTats McGee, with another episode of The Life and Times of FaceTats McGee, episode number 4. Today, I want to talk to you about how art is not something you're born with. It's something that is a learned and developed skill. So, we all know some people that have been creative like their whole life, you know what I mean? Just right off the bat, it was like pencil and paper came naturally to them. But we have to also take a look at some other things. When you look at the drawings from when you were a kid to the drawings that you're making now, if you haven't improved, then you haven't developed that skill. You may have been born with a little bit of an aptitude for it and a definite want to do it or interest in it, but you're not born with an actual skill set. Skill sets are developed. And that happens by doing reps. It's the same way as lifting weights and stuff like that. You have to consider if you just lift one weight one time, you're not going to put on a lot of muscle there. But if you put in a whole bunch of reps over a long period of time, not only will you get more muscle mass, but you'll get muscle memory. And on top of that, you'll actually get like basically the skill of lifting weights to get maximum effectiveness out of it. So drawing and tattooing are essentially the same thing. Again, you might have an aptitude for it. You might naturally pick it up a little bit faster than other people, but when you look at those people that are naturally picking it up faster, they're always better when they keep practicing. And just like riding a bike, we'll use that as another example. Each time you press the pedal down and then back up again, you've essentially practiced riding that bike for one more pedal. And the more pedals that you put in, the better you get at riding a bike. So let's talk about this from here. Now, I think that we should obviously be supportive of people's creativity and their want to create things and be creative in general. And we should definitely support that with children and our friends and other people like that too. And this kind of comes in where constructive criticism is very important, because too many people, I believe, will sit there and tell somebody that they're amazing over and over and over again, and never offer any kind of advice or critique to keep working and improving, and as a result, people will stagnate. Now, I can speak from experience on this because I was definitely, in my family, probably the best artist as I was growing up. However, when I look at my drawings from 10 years ago, 20 years ago compared to now, they're not even in the same arena. In fact, I don't even believe that they're playing the same game. So you have to consider that it's important to help your friends, your family, your loved ones, your children especially, stay grounded and let them know that it is their responsibility to develop that skill if they want to be better at it. Now, this also applies to the fact that if you really look around, you'll find that a lot of times people who are producing kind of amateurish art, not that there's anything wrong with wanting to be an amateur or slowly coming up and stuff, that their friends and family, again, just float their boat too much. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I can't believe it. I mean, amazing is probably one of the most overused words when it comes to art. When I think amazing, I think of stuff that, like, I can't even tell that it's a picture until I get close to it, and then it's like, oh man, this is a drawing. Holy crap, that's amazing. But just because you can put a pencil to paper doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good artist. So there are some rules when it comes to art, and it's not to say that you should box yourself in entirely, but you have to consider a few things: form, flow, light sourcing, the ability to create foreshortening, value scale, your chroma, color theory. All of these things are what makes up the whole of art. And art is essentially like the visual representation of mathematics. The same way music is an auditory representation of mathematics and rhythm. So when you're drawing and you're learning to draw, there's some things that you definitely need to develop for you to become, a professional artist and really get it out there. Now, I know that we've all seen some of these abstract paintings, and they can kind of evoke a little bit of emotion and stuff like that, but it really reminds me a lot of Jackson Pollock. Although I know I'll probably get some hate for saying this, I really don't like that guy's paintings. To me, it was more about challenging what was accepted of art versus where other people were challenging long-held beliefs about art, or long-held beliefs about how art should be done. So I guess to a degree, I mean, that might make me a hypocrite, but his paintings, for example, just never really made me think, oh man, what an amazing thing he's done. However, when I look at like a Botticelli or Da Vinci, any of these classic painters, and even a lot of modern painters who I could name for days, it's very emotionally invoking to me because I can see the love of that skill set. I can see the love and the labor that has gone into that person's art and to make it what it is today. And you can see that they're constantly pushing themselves. And so that's what I try to kind of model my artistic career after, is that I want it to be somebody that's always pushing the boundaries of what I'm capable of. And you'll never find out what you're capable of unless you're willing to break out of some of the rules a little bit. However, though, it's still good to use those rules. For example, when you're doing a line drawing, the thicker the line is, the heavier the line weight, the closer the object will look to you as a result of that. When you're doing shading, you can't just do everything in light grays, or you can't do everything in all black, because then it doesn't have a good value scale. I mean, you can, but you need to have a solid understanding of why those things are and where they go and why they go there. As well as your color theory, it's actually quite incredible how much you can change one color out for the next, something that necessarily wouldn't even belong in whatever you're drawing. But if you know how to use your light source properly and then adjust your color theory to create maybe a colored light source or a colored shadow, you'll find that it makes a huge difference. In example, if you draw a cube and you have one side of it be yellow, the other side be orange, and then the third side that you can see be purple, because you can only see three sides at a time, you'll notice that the purple side automatically is interpreted as a shadow by your eyes, and it'll kind of drop it back. So these are all things that you can use to improve your art skill set and your art theory. But to finish this video out, essentially one of the things I want to share is, strangely enough, I try to take it as a compliment, but sometimes it can get quite frustrating hearing people say, oh, you're so talented, or oh, I just can't even draw a stick figure. Well, the reality is that you've never practiced drawing a stick figure enough times. You've never practiced drawing a thing enough times to get good at it. And just like riding on a bike or anything else, or any of the other examples I've used, the first few times we do something, we usually suck at it. And that's not hating on anybody. It's just a statement of reality. The first time you do something is not going to be as good as the 10th time you do something. And if you're not improving by the 10th time, then the reality is it's not that you don't have you're not able to do that. It's probably that you're not practicing the right things. So let's go ahead and wrap this all up here, because I have this tendency to make these videos pretty long. So we're just going to say, here's a couple of things that you want to do if you want to become a good artist and to help support people around you that are artists. A, be willing to offer constructive criticism. Don't just tear somebody down, but try to help them. Give them a compliment sandwich, for example. I love how you did the shading here. This part over here could be improved. And then this thing over here looks really rad too. Because it kind of helps wrap that little bit of a blow to the ego, because it does happen, into being able to learn something from it and still feel good about it afterwards. And if you want to be good at anything, you need to be willing to believe in yourself, but also not be egotistical about it. And there's a huge difference between believing in yourself and confidence and and bragging, or being a braggart. And you can tell by the results that people get based off of how they talk about it. Muhammad Ali, arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time. Did he get defeated? Yes. Was it a mind game a little bit? Yes. But he also was an incredible boxer, so he backed that up. And he did it by practicing. So remember, guys, if you want to be good at something, practice, practice, practice. Repetition is the mother of skill. So you have to put those reps in to get good at anything. And in the meantime, I also want to invite you guys all again to go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more of these videos. I love seeing that people are checking them out and it's starting to gain a little bit of momentum. I also want to take a second and thank everybody so much for being a part of this and being a part of my dream and supporting all of this stuff. And if you know somebody that could use to hear a message like this, I of course always encourage you to share, tag people in the comments, and if you have anything that you want to see about in future videos here, I want you to go ahead and leave that in the comments as well. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the Life and Times of FaceTats McGee, episode number 4. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.